Peter Obi, the former presidential aspirant of Labour Party.
Where did you meet him?
I didn't meet him as in physically, Eddie. I saw him on social media.
Now you're talking. You said you saw him.
No, I saw a video of him on social media saying something that I know a lot of people might find awkward, kind of. You know, maybe our director should just play the video so that you can watch, and then we'll come back and talk about it. Let's just take a look at this video of Peter Obi.
As long as I'm alive, she's my wife. As long as I'm alive, I won't marry, I won't have anything. She is my wife. That is sealed. Whatever she like, let her do. Because what is she going to do that will offend me? What? Maybe have an affair? It's her business. It's not to me. They will say two of us. Peter Obi is a very good man who married a woman who is... That's it. Nobody can describe me. You can't quantify me with the life of my wife or my children. No. We have different lifestyle. You know, even if I'm traveling with my wife, people have seen it. People have seen my wife in business class. They've seen her in first class. I'm in different class. And we're in the same plane. Because that's what suits her. We don't quarrel with it.
All right, so that's Peter Obi speaking for millions of men, I think. You know,
not millions of men. This is
very few men,
yeah.
very few men, right? You know, why I brought this topic or why I brought this video for us to see is because, you know, what's trending, what's happening in Equatorial Guinea, where we saw a man, a minister, serving minister, who was allegedly accused of, you know, fraud. And in a bid to investigate, because of investigation, they saw, you know, sex tapes and all that in his possession. And now these women are all married women. Most of them, I think 95% of the women are married women, those close to him and those far from him. Now, these people come from a family, they have husbands. And here is Mr. Peter Obi talking about what his wife does not concern him. I mean, she's still his wife until he dies. Now, how will you marry these two things? Do you think some of these men should also listen to Peter Obi and forgive their wives for what they've done?
Thing. It's a personal, and you know, for once, my mind was like, I hope he's not just saying this for people to hear, because it's one thing to say something and it's another for you to actually do the thing.
Well, he said something there that people have seen it, where they're traveling with his wife in the same plane.
Completely, that's a different thing. That your wife is flying a first class and you're flying a business class. I mean,
it tells Olu. How many men would agree to that?
Oh, they are actually. But you see, when it has to do with the S, you know, word.
It's a different ballgame.
Different ballgame entirely. Different ballgame, because serious emotions are tied into it, and people don't take that lightly. You can do anything, but you see that particular thing, don't go there for a man. That is where you deflate a man's ego most. Do anything to a man, but don't go there. Right from time immemorial, from our grandparents, if there was anything a man prided himself in, was his woman. Yeah. So do anything, but don't go there.
Okay, so are you saying Mr. Peter Obi is 1 out of a million?
I don't know.
Or you don't think any man...
honestly, because Nancy,
someone
could be out
somebody
there
who is being
us,
respected, for heaven's sake. I'm not sure he would want to lie about such things.
Well, Nancy, you see, let's not go. I'm not trying to, but you see, human nature, I find it so different, because human beings, just like the man that was at the Equatorial Guinea man, who would believe it, you know, if it wasn't for the circumstance,
tapes,
you know, and then,
found.
would you have ever known that? So a lot of men have a lot of skeletons in their cupboards, as well as women, as long as you can keep it secret. I mean, that's it. So it's only when you're being caught in the act that, oh yeah, everybody will now come, this is who he is, this is who she is, and all of that.
So let's just take a look at this. I don't want us to discuss much about the Equatorial Guinea. We'll keep that for another day. But look at this Peter Obi's talk.
As regards women and men and being told,
No, do you think it's the way to go?
Oh, I advocate for tolerance and forgiveness to as much extent you can. You know, people are different. People have different limits of tolerance. So as much as you can forgive, as much as you can tolerate one another, I encourage you to. So that for someone who is who has that ability to be patient, to be forgiving, to be accommodating, please keep on doing it. For you who don't, you can cultivate it. It's possible because if one person has done it, then it's possible that another person can do it. Okay. So please, I encourage it a lot.
All right, it's a good thing, and I like your opinion on this. And then these things are not complete until you go to the comment section. I see women there applauding Peter Obi, saying this is the way to go. How many men can be like this? And I see the men there saying, you're on your own, no?
What do you expect? What do you expect?
All right, so we'll go on a very short break, and then we'll come back, we'll introduce our guests as well as our topic. So with us, we'll be right back.
Step into the heartbeat of the world, where news meets real talk. From breakthroughs in diplomacy to humanitarian challenges and scientific milestones, Global Digest takes you beyond the headlines and straight to the heart of the matter. I am Amma Marcus. Be a part of the world unfolding stories at 3 p.m. on ADBN, channel 258 on DSTV, and Star Times, channel 140. Global Digest, your window to the world's current affairs, only on Advocate Broadcasting Network.
No matter wetin I see, enough fit make mouth heavy to talk am. That's now why people dey talk.
You know wetin dey worry you, but you no go fit help yourself.
In this kind of situation now, what if they really no talk to una? Wetin be the way forward?
They go bury our chairman on Thursday. We go remain here.
Make we talk good where we dey see good, and where we know say we not dey see good, make we also dey talk am.
No woman, no mother deserve to know the grave of his child.
The bank manager, the bank executive, they are the one the government should first face.
People They Talk, the show on Monday to Friday by 5 p.m. on top ADBN TV.
Welcome to the Niger Delta, a region of incredible beauty and stark contrast. From its breathtaking landscapes to its rich cultural heritage, this is a place where history and modernity collide. But beneath this serene surface lies a story of struggle and resilience. The Niger Delta is the lifeblood of Nigeria's economy, home to vast oil reserves that fuel the nation, yet it is a land where the people fight for their share of the wealth. Join us on the program Niger Delta Today as we explore the heart of the Niger Delta, discover the vibrant cultures, the struggles for environmental justice, and the stories of the people who call this place home. This is the Niger Delta, a land of contrast, a story of resilience, a journey of hope. Don't miss our exclusive series, Niger Delta Today, every day at 12 noon, only on ADBN TV. Witness the untold stories, experience the journey, be part of the change.
Welcome back, and thanks for being there. So research shows that caregivers of special need individuals are at higher risk of burnout, depression, and anxiety. Yet, they continue to pour their hearts and soul into supporting their loved ones. Today, we are joined by Pastor Mbiatke Themis. She's a lead, she's a team lead at Teach Audacious. I keep getting this. She's an educational consultant, a school administrator, and a learning disability and special need expert. And my favorite of them all, inclusive education advocate. So Pastor Mbiatke will share her expertise on the crucial role self-care plays in sustaining special needs families. Pastor Mbiatke, you're welcome.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here. I love being here.
Yeah, no, welcome,
love being here.
Pastor Mbiatke.
Yeah, she said Mbiatke. Giving my name is Spanish.
Oh, I like that. I like the way you say it.
The fact that she mentioned Spanish, so that means it's not a bad thing. It's okay. It's okay. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank
you so much for the things you do.
Thank you. I love my job. I love my job, and I love the people I serve. I love the kids I serve.
Wow. It's all over. Right. You speak about it passionately.
I love them.
Yeah.
I love the cluster I represent.
Thank you for doing this for humanity.
It only takes someone who loves doing that to be able to do it. Okay, so now since we're talking about self-care, I mean, you've seen special needs families, you've known what they go through and all that. So what are those common burnouts, common challenges when it comes to self-care that you see them facing? Let's just start from there.
Okay, I want to say something that most times while working with these parents, they even face heavier weight than the children with special needs themselves. Their caregivers and their families are at a more receiving end of a lot of things. So you find them being easily depressed. You find stigmatization everywhere. Everywhere you go, you see subtle stigmatization, subtle discrimination. I was somewhere over the weekend, and then I heard something like somebody said, okay, let's stand up and pray that God will recreate the children. I was like, already you're profiling, already you are stigmatizing. That means you're already saying there's something wrong with them.
The children.
And then they said, okay, they should give a song. Someone came out and started the song like, kick the devil out. They were trying to spiritualize and they were trying to make it look as if there was something spiritually wrong with the children. So these people face a lot of stigmatization. Like in our school, Peapod International Schools, this term we admitted some kids, and then a parent came and told me, oh, I need to withdraw my kids because already I'm facing too many spiritual problems. So I don't want to add to. And I said, what are you trying to say in two sentences, or rather 2 words? She said, they have spiritual issues. So imagine the parent of those children. And I told her, we will always be an inclusive school. So joyfully, I'm giving you your money. So these parents face depression, they face stigmatization, they face the first people that they face this from are family members.
Exactly.
Okay, even within the family, you'll see the husband stigmatizing the wife. The brothers, sometimes they don't even allow the brothers to talk to the child.
Siblings.
Within the siblings. Within the siblings. So then the person that is directly in charge of taking care of them, which most times is their mother, goes through depression. She goes through self-blame. Is another thing. Self-blame, they go through a whole lot of things from the church, from the community, from their families. Everyone is trying to find a mistake on why they had that child.
So why do you think this self-care thing is crucial for this family?
Oh, because a lot of them crash without even knowing they've crashed. Most caregivers of kids with special needs are just working on default. They're just there. They're just living for the children. They've lost themselves. They've lost their essence. They've lost who they are. So they just wake up every morning. Some of them don't even want to pursue their passion. Some of them don't even. They're just there. They're just there. So they're just working on autopilot. They're just there. They've given up. So they don't want to pursue anything. They don't want to pursue their interests. They don't want to pursue their passion, especially the mothers. Especially the mothers. All their life becomes revolved around that child. They don't even take care of themselves. They fall sick. They don't want to take care of themselves. Nobody wants to take care of your child for you to even go to hospital. So you have to sacrifice your health for your child. Yes, at home all day, social connections, they lose friendships, they lose their economic power. They have to stay at home to look after their kids. Most times they lose everything. They're just waking up and just existing.
There's so much advocacy, there's so much to be done towards this. Encouraging the women, the mothers in particular, and family members, sensitizing them and letting them know that this is a normal life, irrespective of all of this. And I know you're doing well. The society is large, and I hope a lot of people will key into this.
I pray so.
Because it takes a lot of guts.
How many mothers?
Have the grace. You must have the grace to actually do this, because it's not easy. When you see those children, at first, there's this human thing, that thing in you that would want to, repel you.
As a mother.
So not even as a mother, like a friend, a family, a neighbor.
Oh, okay, the sight of the children.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's so difficult even when they want to hug you, you know, like you would put out your arms to wrap around a normal, no, I don't want to use that word.
Child. Yeah, because that's stigmatization.
Exactly.
That's profiling.
I just had to take that word back. So, but
a regular child.
A regular child, you would hesitate a bit. You know,
when
you
it
would
comes to special
yeah. So you will need a lot of courage to do this.
Courage?
Oh yeah, that's how I see it.
In this part of the world, actually.
Exactly.
You actually need that
courage. Okay, if you say so.
So I would like us to start on the note of encouraging people like me, like Nancy,
no, like you,
any other person out there, the approach you could give to children like this.
Okay.
Yes.
Special needs are not contagious. It's not a disease. The child is not sick. The child is not ill. So the child cannot pass it from one person to the other. The child would not even pass it to you through a hug, through a kiss, through nothing. The child would not pass it to you. And then, okay, like for example, Down syndrome, which is very common. A whole lot of people will think that it's contagious. Down syndrome is not even majorly inherited. It's not. Down syndrome is more of a genetic mutation. That means it's possible for just at the point of conception that, you know, they trisomy 21, there was an extra chromosome attached. So it's not in the family, even though a family with a kid with a Down syndrome kid stand a higher risk of having another child, but it is not hereditary. So go ahead, hug that child, go ahead, play with that, allow your kids. It's not hereditary, it's not a sickness, please.
You know, there was a day I saw a child in the supermarket. She was coming and then she was trolling, you know, the special children. Normally, me back then, I would have, you know, given way. But instead, it was a child who, at the point of seeing me, wanted to turn and, you know, move away. But I was like, hello. And she hesitated, like, are you talking to me? So all I did was, you're beautiful. I don't know where that courage came from, but I just touched her and said, you're beautiful. And do you know, as soon as I just told her that, she just started jumping with joy. Like, throughout, you know, I had to like look out for her. I wanted to see who she was with, because the way she was jumping, like she was, even when I saw with the mom at the counter, this smile on her face, like she was still gushing, like from the compliments I gave her. So I can imagine what it means to that child.
She really received
it. Used to being ostracized.
Yeah,
so reflex action, she needs to give you way.
Exactly.
Yes. It's reflex action because she's used to people pushing her away. She's used to being ostracized.
Well, thank God
I've
been talking with you, so we are a bit
Great
educated
job.
on, you know, how to do that.
Thank
so now
you.
let's talk about how families of, you know, this kind of families with special needs children, how can they prioritize self-care? Because like you said, it's not easy. Their life revolves around everything that has to do with the child. So where is the space for self-care? How do you advise them? How can they prioritize self-care?
Please be intentional about yourself. You have to be intentional. You have to make time for yourself as a mother and join support groups. Join other mothers. Just have a social life. You must live for the child at the end of the day. At the end of the day, you have to live for your child. At the end of the day, you have your own life too. So please, mothers, fathers, because we have exceptionally great fathers that are also taking care of their kids. We also have some fathers that are widowers that have these kids. So it's not just a mother thing too. I've also seen single fathers with these kids with special needs. So please be intentional about your life. Be intentional about giving yourself, about your self-care. Just know that now you're living not just for yourself, you're living for another person. So you must live, and you must not just live well, you must live well.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Do we have support groups, you know, like?
In our states, we don't have any support group that I know of. So that's one of the things I was thinking of last week. I said I should start a support group
Yeah,
for parents
to go a long
here.
way.
Because like the support group I belong to is in Lagos. Lagos, they have a lot of support groups, but in our state here, we do not have a support group. We don't even have enough awareness for people to want to come out. Like over the weekend, last month was World Down Syndrome Day, so I decided to take a couple of kids with Down syndrome to go celebrate, and people were actually looking at me.
You know, you said you were going to do that.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm thinking that they were my kids, and then on Facebook when I posted it, oh, madam, you've done so well, madam, well done. And I have to explain, these are not even my kids, and I'm getting a whole lot of this thing online. How are you managing? I said, no, they're not even my kids, but I love them as much as that. People can't understand that. Where did you get the guts to go to Tropicana with this child? How did you walk? Well, in fact, when we went to Tropicana, we had a crowd looking.
Yeah.
As if people were looking as if something, as if there was a miracle happening there.
Because
support groups.
No, I actually buy into this, and I would encourage you. Seek for people who are willing, and then let's do this more.
Yes.
I think I buy into that.
Now, you know, when you come to these families, they have siblings who might not really understand what's happening. For instance, there was this child, this was just someone told me this story, you know, of how the siblings, they decided to give this brother of theirs a room to himself, you know. And so when they're on the table eating, once it comes out, nobody wants to eat on the table anymore. So how can siblings support siblings who have special needs?
It's not the siblings that do that. It's what the parents have told the siblings.
Are you sure about
Children
that?
Children are a clean slate. So it's what you feed them.
But they go outside. They see things outside.
If the child is accepted in the house by the parents, the kids learn by example.
Exactly.
So it's from the home that seeing their parents
do that,
stigmatizing their siblings. So it's easy for them to. Like we educate our kids in our school about embracing diversity. So a mother was telling me yesterday that when she told the daughter, the son, and said, why are you sitting? He said it was the boy now that is in our school that was advocating, because we've told them that every child is an advocate. So don't blame the siblings. Ask what the parents have been feeding their children with. Yes.
But then talking to siblings now, because I really want us to work on that, you know, how siblings can support their siblings. Keep the parents aside now, because I really don't agree with you 100% that it's what the parents do. Because sometimes we know how we try to instill some behaviors on our kids, and we see them going the other way. You know, even though, but like in my house, my son came back the other day and said something I have never said in the house before. He used the word that, you know, nobody has used that word in my house. So I was wondering where he got it from. So upon interrogation, he told me he got it from his friend in school. So you see, so kids bring in alien behavior into the house. So how would siblings, you know, regardless of how the special needs sibling is, support them?
Okay, but I still want to take it back. Because no matter what you hear outside as a sibling, and when you come home, you see your father hugging your brother. You see your father bringing out your brother, feeding, sharing from the same plate. What you've heard outside will not have as much hold on you as what you see done in the house. So it goes back to the home.
Exactly.
It goes back to, because no matter what you hear outside, if you've seen your brother or your sister being loved at home, you will advocate and say, oh, I have a brother with this need. He's exceptionally bright. He's this. You're advocating because you've seen this boy being showed love from the home. So it still, for me, goes back to the home. Let me give you an instance. There's a kid I was working with. This kid poured 10 liters of fuel on himself. He has Down syndrome.
Goodness.
And he drank some. And then the father asked, why didn't he die? Then the younger brother went and opened the gate and pushed him out and locked back the gate, the older brother. And because maybe he felt comfortable because he's been seeing that the parents have been showing him favoritism over this other. That's why he has the audacity, the guts to do that to his brother. So kids will never do anything, especially within a certain age range. They will never do anything outside the examples they have seen at home.
Exactly.
So it goes back to the parents.
They
push, they show preference. Something happens, they're like, okay, you drink first. So they've seen their parents giving preferences to them as regular kids over their brothers. So it goes back to the home.
Wow. So but if it's a family of 4 children and only one child turns to have that kind of attitude, then that something is actually wrong with that child. Yeah, so you could also excuse the child because others won't act the same. So it's actually a problem. But you can excuse the child.
Okay, so is there a pattern? Because I think even if, like mothers, sometimes we like to carry all the loads on our head and think we are the best for the job, excluding every other person. So I'm thinking if mothers of this kind of children could involve... Please pardon me. Mothers of special needs. Yeah, exactly. Please. If they can involve everybody in the house in the care and, for these siblings with Down syndrome. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
That's how it should be. Everyone should be involved in taking care of your sibling. That's how it should be.
But then you would say, this child is busy with this. Face your life. Don't worry, I'll do them. What? I know mothers would,
They should actually learn to involve their other kids in the care of their sibling with special needs.
Okay.
Yes, they should.
All right, let's just take a little breather and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Step into the heartbeat of the world where news meets real talk. From breakthroughs in diplomacy to humanitarian challenges and scientific milestones, Global Digest takes you beyond the headlines and straight to the heart of the matter. I am Amma Marcus. Be a part of the world unfolding stories at 3 p.m. on ADBN, channel 258 on DSTV, and Star Times, channel 140. Global Digest, your window to the world's current affairs, only on Advocate Broadcasting Network.
Welcome back. So we're still discussing self-care for families with special needs. It's necessary for them to take a break, relax and rejuvenate so that they can have that energy and power to take care of their special needs children. So we have Pastor Thomas, who is doing justice to the... I know Eddie was waiting for me to say Mbia. Don't worry. All right, let's go to social media this time around. Let's just take some few tweets from the socials. We have this one here from Living who says, families with children with special needs must be concerned about what happened to their children when they pass or are physically unable to care for their children. Hopefully they have other children willing to step in. But what about those without? What happened to those children, stroke adults, when the parents need to move into assisted living? We need a community that accepts not only adults, but their adult children. Does something like that exist? A community of seniors and their adult children with special need. As I get older, I worry for my son. What will become of him when my wife and I are no longer able to provide the care he needs? We need a community that cares for both and continues to care for the adult children when the parents pass. Most of us will outlive our children, and the loss they suffer will be awful. How much better if they are able to, if they are already part of a community that understands and cares for them. I have no idea if something like this exists or what it will take to create it, but we need it. All right, so before you come, because I see you wanted to react to that, let's take this other one. Normalizing seeing children with special needs out, with special needs out so you can, so you won't be looking crazy if they're having an episodes like Eddie. And I always hate how embarrassed parents of these babies look when they are having an episode. When I see the parent look nervous, I try to reaffirm them with a good job, like giving them a thumbs up and saying, good job. Let's take this last one. Having a special need child is so hard. I just had the roughest morning ever. Just pray God continues to give me the strength and also cover my baby. I say amen to that prayer. So we would like to react to the first one, I guess, talking about community.
Yes, I don't think there's any of such community in our country. But I know they have that in the US and other Western. But we need that because that is the first worry. You know, one of the things we do at Teach Audacious is that we offer support to parents. And in the course of offering support to these parents, every of those parents have asked this question. What happens to me if I'm no more? Who takes care of my child? Because right now, while I'm alive, I am the only person. So it is the fear of every parent with a child with special needs. It is the fear. It is their most potent fear. It is their most potent fear that they are afraid to share. So it's heartbreaking. And I really pray that our community, our nation will rise to this.
So, you want to say something?
No, I was just giving it a deep thought because we have homes for elderly ones, and I think that is upcoming around us. But for special need, I think something really needs to be done, and I don't know who will take the bull by the horn, who will bail the carts, you know, who will start this. At Teach Audacious, I think...
yes, we would really love to do that. For me, okay, as a person, as I don't really advocate for boarding houses for kids
with special
needs because I think they need to bond with their families. It's a time to bond and be, you know. But for the adults, I advocate that because once their parents are no more, they are the ones that are dumped on the road. Sometimes you see them on the road, rain comes, meet them there, everything comes. Sometimes in our hinterland, the villages, they beat them to death because they've been branded as witches. So they're, you know, beaten to death. They are just left there at the mercy of anyone. So I really, really wish that that will happen. And taking care of adults with special needs is a different ballgame from taking care of kids with special needs. It's a different ballgame. You need to be trained because there's some of these adults that do not even have potty control. So you are changing diapers, they are throwing tantrums, they are pulling their hair, they are having meltdowns, they are screaming, they are having seizures. So it's a different ballgame. It's easier to take care of a child with special needs than an adult. But I'm just praying that more people will put their hands. I have a child I'm working with. He's roughly about 27. He doesn't have...
You call the child?
It's my child. It's my baby.
You know, I was expecting to hear like 5 years or 6 years, but 27?
No, he's 26, and he can't even, after using the loo, he cannot even wear his trousers. So if we are not there, he just wears it like that. He doesn't know how to clean. So now we get someone to do the cleaning. So we are teaching him how to do it because we want him to get at least some form of self-independence.
Okay, so I was about asking, for a child to grow with this special need from when the child was quite tender to that age, is there no form of training that could be given to the child so that at that age the child would have some...
That's one of the things we do at Teach Audacious. We start behavioral therapy. We start helping them to pick up after themselves, dress up, use the restroom because it's tedious. So imagine an adult that is just sitting there and the next thing the dress is messed up, everything is messed up, or they're throwing tantrums and all of that. So it's more tedious taking care of. So from at a little age, start teaching them some form of self-reliance.
Okay, so that works.
Yes, it does.
So for adults whom we have with this character attributes are people who probably were not trained.
Yes,
early enough.
They may not be able to do everything, but at least they should be able to do some things. Yes, with early intervention.
So like the tantrum, throwing of tantrums.
Yes, the tantrum is because of, it can be because of sensory overload. It can be because of they're having a seizure. A lot of things causes tantrums, throwing of tantrums, meltdowns, and all of that. Yes, a lot of, so there are things that they cannot control. It's beyond them because it's a neurological issue. But to a certain extent, with early intervention, they can take care of themselves too.
Okay.
Like this boy, when we started working, he couldn't even eat, but now
he helps
eating.
himself with eating.
He helps himself with eating. Now, if he wants to use the restroom, he will tell you, pee. But before, at 26, imagine a 26-year-old man, he just sits down there and messes up everything. So you need to now pull him, start clean his. So we taught him how to dress up, and he's doing it now. At least he can wear he can button even if not, he can do his shoes. If he wants to visit the restroom, he can say it. He can go by himself. He just waits outside. We have a man that waits outside because I won't do the job. I'm a woman, so we have a man that will, go in and check or just monitor him, clean himself up, wear his trousers, wash his hands, and all of that. And he's picking up.
With the way you're saying this, that means if there was an early intervention,
yes, he would have done better. Would have done better.
All right, now let's talk about policy. We can do some of this, especially when it comes to homes for this special children. We're talking about policies that you think that the government should either improve on or create to support, families with special needs.
That's a tough one. And I think in our society, we are even more concerned about people that have physical disabilities. But there are more people that have neurological disabilities. And those are the people we should also shine. Yes, because they are the ones, someone with physical ability, with a physical disability, the person maybe could just be lame. The person has control over the walking. So he's not as disadvantaged as someone with. So the government should try to create a more inclusive society. Let there be awareness. Let there be, for example, if there's enough awareness, I should be able to be in a public place and see someone with a disability, and I reach out without even being asked. I should offer assistance. I should offer an assistance because I'm aware there should be enough awareness. There should be enough support from even the government for these people.
Yeah, you know, like what you've just said, people with physical disability are more carried along.
And they are fighting for their rights.
Exactly, because I know when you talk about physical disabilities, you have people like that who are being considered for jobs, and like when you say that in the public space, but this neurological dysfunction, that is the one that is, and
nobody's speaking for them.
Yeah, so how do we break this jinx? How do we start up something? And they're the most abused.
They're the most vulnerable.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact,
I
don't think that most people with physical disabilities are even disadvantaged. I know a blind lawyer. I know a deaf teacher. He has a master's.
I agree with you.
I know, they are doing well because their neurological working is top notch. It's just the gross motor skills or one that they are lacking. But people with neurological disabilities need day-to-day help because some of them cannot even think for themselves.
So at this point, how do we encourage mothers, the direct caregivers? How do we encourage them to face this life for as long as they can?
It's a tough one. That's why everyone we should all put our hands together. When I do these things, when I go about advocating, somebody said, or a lot of people say, oh, I think she has a child with a special need. A lot of people think that, and then they are surprised to know that I don't have any biological child with a special needs. So they're like, why are you doing it? I said, because it's a passion for me, because there's a vacancy in the society. They need us. They need us. So as if there's enough awareness, you should be able to be in a place and you recognizing maybe an autistic child. You should help the mother. I went to the eatery the other day. The woman came in with 4 boys, and her 4 boys were autistic. They were running all over the place. I had to stand up to her and said, let me help you. Every other person was like, they're not trained. No home training. They did not know that they were having
didn't
meltdown.
understand.
They didn't understand. So they were just looking at the woman. She was so embarrassed. But I understood that they were having a meltdown. So I quickly told her, okay, I'm a learning disabilities and special needs expert. Okay, hold two. I hold two. And we were able to, you know, give them some relief. And she was so grateful.
I can imagine.
She was so grateful. But then if it's in a public place, I'm sure some people just hold their children. Nobody wants to offer help. Madam, train your children. Madam, are they not properly trained? You kill the mother or the father more.
So that's why when I see you talking like this, I know inside of you, there's this policy you would really appreciate the government to, like, you know, bring out there that will help these families.
Okay.
I mean, you've been doing this thing for years. You know,
can the government help us to make a policy that states that discrimination in workplaces, in public spaces, should it attract some form of consequence? Then people will be more careful. The things I see with these children, it's heartbreaking. You won't imagine what they go through. If for someone like me that is a caregiver, people look at me and like, thank God you're done with giving birth to children. You'd have given birth to one of these. Why do you allow them peck you? Why do you do this? I hear all sort of things. So imagine. So please, can we enact a policy that encourages inclusivity and equity for these children, for their families too? Because there are some workplaces that would not employ you if they know you have a child with special needs. They don't even want to employ you
because they feel you.
I was in a place and a child with Down syndrome came, and the person said, Helen said, "Don't bite my child." I'm like, is she a dog? Why would she bite your child? Don't bite my child. Her teeth is poisonous. So please, can we enact policies that stems discrimination, profiling in our public spaces? Yes, please.
Now you're talking.
Yes, please.
I think this will go a long way to curb some of this discrimination.
And another thing, please let me quickly add this.
Okay.
Outside here, in some countries, mothers of kids with special needs in their workplaces are given some form of relief, maybe breaks to take care of their children. The workspace is made a little bit more friendly for them. So can we give parents with kids with special needs a more friendly workspace? A more friendly, can we have public spaces that, okay, mothers for kids with special needs can stay here? Can we create a more inclusive and friendly society for them?
Or you don't give them so much workload that they are so exhausted and won't even have the energy.
Make it easy for them. In the church, make it easy for them. In the mosque, anywhere they are found. In schools are the biggest culprits. Schools are the biggest culprits. The schools and the church, religious centers are the biggest culprits.
Okay, so it's also good you lend a voice to mothers.
But let her land there, because you know when she just said schools and religious places are the biggest culprits, I would like her to like expatiate.
Because most schools do not want to do inclusive education.
Oh, I get your point.
Most schools do not want to. Those kids are termed as mental. They will not say, but there's a salient language that is going on. They will say, oh, the child is mental. And our religious leaders, they will label some of the parents as there's a sin in that generation. Schools and religious gatherings can have a place that kids with temper tantrums and meltdowns, a small room, a small sensory room in schools and in public places. You can take your child there and calm the child down before bringing the child out again.
Exactly. Oh, exactly. That's a tough one. And also, I was about saying it would be nice to lend a voice to mothers to accept and open up. Some of them, because of this discrimination, seems withdrawn.
Yeah, they don't come out. They don't even bring out their children.
Exactly.
Another thing they face is self-blame.
Yeah.
Apart from the stigmatization, self-blame, guilt. They say, Mrs. Thomas, there's something I didn't do. There's something I should have done. okay, for example, a child with Down syndrome, there is a genetic mutation.
Yeah.
That like I said, no, there's nothing you would have done
about it.
Because this whole thing happened the first 5 minutes of the pleasure. There's nothing you would have done. You are doing what everybody is doing. So there's nothing you would have done. Even though there are some special needs that our kids pick it up from our own mistake or ignorance. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there are some special needs. There are some traumas to the brain that is from ignorance as parents. But what if it's in like a kind of case, like in my own words, I say the hand of God. So parents, the self-blame is the first thing that parents are. There's something I should have done. I didn't go to the hospital. I didn't push hard enough. I didn't pray hard enough. Mrs. Thomas, they told me my family. I said there's nothing you would have done. So they find it hard to forgive themselves, which is
all right.
You didn't mention about the home though. I think government should have a home, and then people should learn to see how they could get themselves trained to take care of special needs children.
Exactly.
You know, once upon a time in school, there was this opening for people to come into the educational sector. You know, like coming into the education department. You know, back in the days, people used to run away from that department. Nobody wants to be a teacher. But there was a time, there was this opening for people to come in that they were going to be given jobs immediately they are done with the university. They were even going, they gave them a form of scholarship, you know. So if such a thing could be open for people to be trained for special need children, don't you think that would sell?
Yes. Now, the problem is that even in our Nigerian universities, how many universities are intentional about neuroeducation? Because it's not just about going to the faculty of education and you go to read English, for example. You go to read English. You are just reading how to be a great English teacher. I don't know if you understand. You read physics, you are just being a great science teacher.
No, there should be emphasis on
an intentionality, because it is impossible to be in the schooling system without meeting these kids. So no one should go through a 4-year education program without being intentionally taught. There should be a curriculum developed that is compulsory for every student of education to take, so that when you come out of the university, to an extent you are armed with knowledge. Then after that, you improve yourself, self-development, but your first 4 years of the university, you should not leave it without some form of knowledge, which our schools are not doing.
Exactly, you're right. That's a serious point.
All right, so what's new? Your fights for inclusive education. The last time we spoke, you talked about you being optimistic that it's going to yield fruit. So how far have you gone with the advocacy for inclusive?
What really makes me excited these days is that more kids, I can speak for the kids of Peapod International Schools, are advocates. Education, that they want enlightening their parents, they are the ones telling the society about it. So I'm really glad that the kids are taking up the fight.
Okay.
The parents are giving us a tough time, but the kids are taking up. So what's new is that we're having more kids that are involved in awareness and preaching the inclusivity message.
Yeah, which is a good thing.
Yes, it's a good thing.
You can't blame the parents. They never had the foundation, and it's so difficult to start to get that into an adult who has been
you need to see our classrooms when the special needs kids want to eat. You need to see the way, I love the way the regular kids take care of them. It's beautiful.
Really?
They hug them. It's so beautiful to watch in the class. Sometimes I just watch them. Have you eaten? Mrs. Thomas, this person needs water. They help. They bring the bag. I have a special needs kid that she's always, as soon as anybody comes in, she picks your bag, drops it, picks your water bottle. I love what I'm seeing.
That's a nice one.
That's good, and it's a good foundation, because these children will grow up, go out there into the world, and I think in the nearest future, this advocacy will actually make meaning, because it was never there. It was never there, but it's good you're starting from somewhere. So that's fine. But then let's look at tomorrow. What do you think would happen in the nearest future, given this training and this advocacy?
I am really praying that our society will be more accepting. because there is no future for us if today's society is not deliberate about accepting that we have these people in our midst. So tomorrow will still be as bleak as today until we make up the decision, until we are intentional about this fight for these people, about this fight for this cluster of people.
All right. Thank you so much, Mrs. Thomas. All right, but before you go, can you please talk to families with special need? But we were talking about self-care for families with special needs. Let's not deviate too much. Can you just talk to families out there who have special needs children on why it is crucial for them to take care of themselves? Talking about self-care.
Okay, thank you very much. If you're a family of a child with a special need or a learning disability, I want to say you're doing a great job. You're a fantastic mom. You're a super dad. You're a super family. Remember to take care of yourself. Your child needs you. And there's nothing wrong with your child. Your child is not disadvantaged. Love your child. Do the best that you can for your child. Please join support communities. Be deliberate and intentional about your mental health. Remember, you're not alone. You are not alone. I love you, and I'm sure there are other people out there that love you. You're doing a great job, champion.
Nice one. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Castor.
I like that.
That's another favorite.
I like that.
That's prophetic, right?
I like that.
Oh, you accepted it. I love it the way you accepted it. All right. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we have
my
to go.
privilege.
We have to go.
Thank you.
Eddie?
Yeah.
Closing.
Well, what else do we have to say? I tell you, whenever we come here, you're sure going to get well-informed and educated. And today, I must say, all I can ask is, please go out there. And when you see a special need child, or mother in particular, please extend a hand of help. They all need our support. Do that wherever you find one. Thank you.
I like it when you say that, because the message also comes to you. You should learn how to embrace these children when you see them, to have the courage, like I was able to have to tell, especially.
How is she feeling like?
All right, thank you so much for being a part of the show today. We'll see you all again tomorrow. Thank you from all of us in the studio.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.